So this slide basically tells you more details, but as I said that, okay, you don't need to know all this detail. Just know this. Just know this, I'm happy. If you know this, I'm happy. That's all. You need to know that G3P is, so 1 Kelvin cycle only make 1/3 of G3P. So you need to have 3 Kelvin cycles to make 1 complete G3P. And then G3P is the precursor of glucose. So that's all, okay? To make your life simpler. And so G3P can make glucose, and it can also make fructose. And as you know, glucose plus fructose becomes sucrose. And glucose can also connect to become starch. And starch is usually stored in the root. Okay, now we have different plants. Different plants, they have different strategy in terms of photosynthesis. We have C3 plant, we have C4 plant, we have Chem plant. Okay, they have different ways to do photosynthesis. Okay, in C3 plant, they do Kelvin cycle. They so-called fix. They convert carbon dioxide into G3P in Kelvin cycle. The reason we call C3 plant because PGA that we mentioned here, PGA is a 3-carbon molecule, and then C3 photosynthesis is not efficient because the carbon they can lose in the photorespiration. What is photorespiration? What happens in photorespiration is that during strong sunlight, there will be a lot of photosynthesis occurring in the C3 plant. Then there will be accumulation of a lot of oxygen in the leaves, and carbon dioxide will be used up inside the leaf. And what happens is that when you have a low concentration of carbon dioxide inside the leaf, the photosynthesis is actually slowed down. When photosynthesis slows down, then then the plant will not have enough glucose making. That's what we call photorespiration. It occurs during strong sunlight when there's a lot of photosynthesis occur and accumulation of oxygen inside the leaf, but a depletion of carbon dioxide inside the leaf. But C4 and Chem plant, they have a different structure. They have different structures so that first of all, the first stable product is a 4-carbon molecule instead of PGA that we learned. And also the photosynthesis is different because the structure of the leaf, they do photosynthesis in a different compartment in the leaves, so that the accumulation of oxygen and depletion of carbon dioxide will not occur during the hot, strong sunlight. So this is what we talk about the photorespiration in the C3 plant. So normally in the photosynthesis, you want this to happen. Carbon dioxide combined with RuBP and then speed up or catalyzed by Rubisco to form 2-PGA, and then eventually you get glucose. This is the normal, ideal case. But when you have a very strong sunlight, then you will have a lot of photosynthesis. That means you produce a lot of oxygen. When you have a lot of oxygen, what will happen? Oxygen will actually combine with RuBP instead of carbon dioxide. In this case, you will only make 1 PGA instead of 2 PGA. And then when you have 1 PGA, then you will make less glucose. Remember here we have 2 PGA. then you can make more glucose. But what about the other molecule here? The molecule PG here will go through photorespiration. The plant will convert PG into carbon dioxide, hopefully to compensate the decreased level of carbon dioxide in the leaf. Therefore, photorespiration reduces the efficiency of the photosynthesis because they use part of the product here to make carbon dioxide instead of glucose. See here, 2 PGA molecules make glucose, but in here you only have 1 PGA molecule to make glucose. So it is less efficient because they use the other molecule to make carbon dioxide. So I mentioned that this C3 plant, you have the photorespiration issue because the structure here. But for the C4 plant, you see that after the Calvin cycle, you have the 4 carbon molecule here. So you can see that it is done in 2 different compartments. And the chem plant is even better because they do it in a vacuum, so that the carbon dioxide they can actually store the carbon dioxide as a 4 carbon molecule, and then it will release to do the Calvin cycle. So the difference is that in the C3 plant, you take the carbon dioxide directly from the atmosphere, going through the stomata, and to do the Calvin cycle. But in here, C4 plant, you have a mesophyll cell, you have a bundle sheath cell. The mesophyll cell will take the carbon dioxide and convert it into a 4 carbon molecule, and then as a storage. And then it will be converted back into carbon dioxide to do the Calvin cycle in a different cell. In chem plant, similarly, they take in carbon dioxide, but they store carbon dioxide as a 4 carbon molecule in a vacuum. And after this, when they want to do a Calvin cycle, then they will convert the 4 carbon molecule back to carbon dioxide, and then they can do Calvin cycle. In other words, they have a continuous supply of carbon dioxide in the form of 4 carbon molecule, so that the photorespiration will not occur. So this is the detailed explanation of it. It's basically what I told you. The C4 plant carbon dioxide is converted into this 4 carbon molecule in the mesophyll cell, and then they move to something called a bundle sheath cell next to it for trapping gas, so that they can do the Calvin cycle there. Chem plant stands for this. They are specialized for dryland plant, for example, the cactus and stuff. They open the stomach only at night when the temperature is low and not dry. And when carbon dioxide goes into the cell, they will be converted into 4 carbon molecules and stored in the vacuum. And during daytime, they close the stomata to conserve water. Since they close the stomata, they still have a lot of 4 carbon molecules in the vacuum to supply carbon dioxide for the Calvin cycle. That's how they maintain the water in the daytime. And this is the, we have different pigment in different food. And this is because different pigment correspond to different chlorophyll or other nutrients. So it says that carotenoid against photo damage, so it is good. It can also convert into vitamin A, which is required in our eyes to form the retinal pigment in our retina. Shrimp is also pink. basically the entire idea is that when we eat food, try to eat different color of the food, because different color of the food correspond to different pigment. And different pigment, they are required by our body as a nutrient. So make sure that, especially if you are a vegetarian, make sure that you eat a complete rainbow color of the food so that you get a complete nutrient. So this is like the summary or the comparison summary. Okay, let's stop here.